Ohio State picked up their 20th straight win under Urban Meyer with the 63-14 victory over the Nittany Lions. Kevin Noon of Rivals and BuckeyeGrove.com joins us from Columbus. And Kevin, let's start with the evolution of Braxton Miller. Where has he progressed most since returning in Week 5?
Well, I think it's a two-pronged attack with Braxton Miller. First of all, he's really doing a great job with his progressions. He's not just a deep ball, a run or chuck it type of guy. He's going through, looking for Carlos Hyde, looking for the tight ends, doing a lot of things like that. But I think he's a more confident runner right now at this point, too. When you watched him during Northwestern or Wisconsin, one of those games, he was a lot more tentative, not really willing to get out there and cut it with wearing that knee brace. Now he's out there and he's a much more proficient runner. And, the strange factor of this game, he had his first rushing touchdown of the year with that 39-yarder.
Nearly 700 yards of offense on Saturday. Pretty phenomenal. Kevin, when the discussion turns to how Ohio State stacks up against the likes of Alabama, one criticism is they can't beat them in the trenches. What have you seen from the line on both sides of the football?
I think we start on the offensive side of the line, and this line is playing very well. They have 4 returning starters. Taylor Decker's the 5th guy. He's playing at a high level, but when you look at guys like Jack Mewhort and you look at Corey Lindsley and everybody on the line, they're playing very, very well, and it's really a strength of this team. Flipping over to the defensive line, I think they've got the pieces there. Everybody said that this was going to be the weak point of the defense, but it's not been the defensive line. I think maybe the scheme hasn't been there at times when they're only sending 3 and dropping 8. I think the line is playing a lot better. Would it be ready to be able to play against one of the big 3 in the BCS? I don't know. Maybe with a month to prepare, maybe they could be able to do something there, but that is definitely where the challenge would be.
All right, Kevin Noon in Columbus. Great stuff. Thanks as always. Next stop, the Lone Star State, where we say hello to Kevin Lonnquist of Rivals and Sikkim Sports. And Kevin, the names of Petty and Seastrunk get most of the ink when it comes to Baylor this year. What else has been key to this team's historic run?
Well, really, this started about a year ago with the defensive transformation, where they've really done a great job of getting pressure. They've made some really great strides. Number one, they're 10th in the nation in total defense at about 316 yards a game. They're leading the nation in red zone defense at only 55% of the time that the opposition has scored. And third, they're really getting after the quarterback. They're 8th in the nation in sacks with about 23. So they've really done a great job of that. And finally, one of the things that's really changed for this defense is that they made a switch in the spring where they brought one of their safeties up to nickelback in Sam Hall, and they put their nickelback in Ahmad Dixon back at the safety spot, and that's really changed the dynamics of how well this defensive unit moves.
Kevin, the schedule gets much more difficult from here on out. 3 of the final 5 opponents are the top 25. What's the argument from Bear fan out there who says this team can get to the national title game?
Well, number one, they've got to win all their games, and I don't think style points are going to be so much of a big deal for them, but they've just got to win. Number two, they've got to make sure that those teams that they're beating, starting with Oklahoma on November 7th, do their job and win their games. And third, maintain their health. They've been really lucky this year avoiding any major injuries to key players. If they stay healthy like they've been through the first 2 months, and I think they've got a legitimate shot to play their way into the national championship game.
All right, Kevin Lonnquist, thanks very much.
You bet.
And Bonnie, the Bears enjoy their bye week this week before a Thursday night tilt against Oklahoma.